All right, thank you for staying with us. Here in Lagos State, the Environmental Protection Agency says the current change in weather and the atmosphere condition across the country is not harmattan, but rather an extreme form of air pollution. The agency says its investigations reveal the level of air pollution can have their consequences on human health. Senior correspondent Jacqueline Ogo has more details.
According to the World Health Organization, air pollution kills an estimated 7 million people in the world annually. In 2019, China and India recorded almost 2 million deaths from air pollution. But statistics put together by worldpopulationreview.com says Bangladesh is the most polluted country in the world. Stepping into Africa and turning attention to Nigeria, the Environmental Protection Agency says the current weather and atmospheric condition in the country is not harmattan, but a result of air pollution, with a list of dire consequences on human health, synonymous with those listed by the World Health Organization. I had to find a pulmonary physician who is a doctor that deals with respiratory matters to explain the dangers of air pollution.
It can lead to respiratory tract diseases, like I said before, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease over time. It can lead to lung cancers, cancer of the mouth, oral cancer, nasopharyngeal cancer, cervical cancer, and a variety of other cancers. It can also even lead to metabolic dysfunction. It can lead to hypertension. It can lead to diabetes. It can affect the skin, and it can affect multiple organ systems, including the heart.
And if you're wondering if children can be adversely affected by air pollution, hear Dr. Abiola Omolayole again.
Even in pregnant women, it has an adverse effect on the fetus, growing fetus. It can lead to prematurity. It can lead to low birth weight. As the child develops, it can actually hinder the progression of the lung development.
Could that be all?
If you notice any cough that lingers on for more than 2 weeks, or if you notice difficulty in breathing, or you notice anything like wheezing or chest tightness, or even weight loss, it's good to visit your doctor, because you may have a respiratory tract disease. Even if you don't have any symptoms, it's good to do a normal routine checkup at least twice a year.
To verify if people are already getting dangerous signals from the current weather condition, I did a quick check on the streets.
What I can say is that we are living right of the moment. The issue of climate change, the issue of chest pain is becoming a recurring decimal. As a pastor, most of my members complain about chest pain, but I'm not a medical doctor. But I have a medical doctor friend. I was there 3 days ago, and the issues has to do with chest-related pain, from what I could deduce.
The weather early in the morning is always very dusty. It's not fresh. So because of that, I had to start using my nose mask, because I noticed that when I'm breathing, I have difficulty breathing.
I don't think the weather is polluted, and if it's about weather pollution, I think it has been happening since probably 2 years ago. Everything has not been going normal.
To ensure safety, Nigeria's Environmental Protection Agency is asking citizens, residents in the country, and visitors to mask up. Stay hydrated by drinking more water, preferably warm water. Cover food and water properly to prevent dust from settling on them. Wash foods thoroughly before eating them, and to stay indoors as much as possible, because the current weather condition may prevail for a considerable period of time. Jacqueline Ogo, TVC News, Lagos.
We move to Abuja, where e-hailing drivers have expressed concerns over the increasing rate of threats and harassment they receive from passengers on a regular basis. The drivers say their lives are at risk as they hope for an immediate solution. Farah Mohammed has more details on this.
In recent times, e-hailing drivers have increasingly fallen victims to attacks by criminal gangs who mainly come as passengers. These risks sometimes lead to loss of lives and leave many with permanent injuries. To find out more about the necessary precautions one needs to take when getting into e-hailing taxi, I ordered a ride from one e-hailing app companies. I waited few minutes for my ride to come. I got in front just to have a chat with the driver. I later spoke to him to find out about his experiences as an e-hailing driver in the FCT. He told TVC News that he has been on this job for 5 years now and has constantly faced security threats from both genders.
Most apps don't have security features. That's the truth. They don't have security features. So even if anything's happened to you, okay, like imagine a driver being killed and then he's on app, you go to the app company, trace this thing, they tell you they can't trace it, that person doesn't have an address. But this thing happened while the person was on duty. So why would that happen if you are doing your due diligence, if you are from get-go profiling these people? You understand? How can I get hurt working for you and then you're telling me you can't trace the person that actually hurt me? For drivers, I think to an extent we're secured. When I say secured, I say before you register as a driver, you must have your driver's license and basically your biodata on the app. Now, when it comes to the rider side, that does not exist. You understand? A rider can just, you have somebody who has like 5-6 different accounts because it's not attached to anything. His name is not on it. There's no means of identification. So he can decide to create 1 million accounts, you understand, and perpetrate whatever evil he wants to or she wants to with those accounts. So I feel going forward, the app companies must try to do one thing, and that is profile riders.
His concerns are that most e-hailing companies are not taking adequate steps to ensure their safety. He urged the e-hailing companies to review their policies so it can be of benefit to both drivers, passengers and the companies. In a quest to find out more on what e-hailing companies are doing to solve this problem, TVC News spoke to the founder of an e-hailing company, Yakubu Muhammad, who shed light on how his company will help solve security problems. He also encouraged the federal government to ensure Nigerians have access to security agencies in various areas for 24 hours.
That is why we made these robust security details where you would receive an OTP as a passenger and the driver will request for it before he starts your ride. So there is no need of going offline, because if you go offline, we can't track the driver because he will say, okay, let's go offline. No, that is why are they going offline? It's because of the rate of the charges they get from the other e-hailing is too much on them. So we are trying to see how we can bring down the charges so that it doesn't even encourage them to go offline. This is the driver's app. The driver's app gives us the pickup location and then the drop-off. Once the driver accepts, it gives seconds to accept. Now it generates an OTP. I'm using my name. This is Yakubu Audu. It generates an OTP and tells you the kind of car the person is coming with, the color and the plate number. And this OTP now is here. It tells you the pickup and everything. The amount is there. So if the driver arrives, as soon as it arrives, it gets it requests for an OTP. This is the place for an OTP because you have to input an OTP. If you input the wrong OTP, it will not go through. The OTP is 4836. So let's input 4836. 4836. Done. Confirm. We want to partner to station some men of security operatives in our office so that they will be the first response people. If they are stationed in our office, they are the first response people. They can respond to such alert with immediate effect. So as they are responding to it, and we also find the nearest police station so that we can close down the crime area. And once we close down the crime area, we know that this person will not go beyond this place.
Most drivers have now changed their approach to their jobs by declining ride requests from certain pickup spots and ending their workday as early as 6 p.m. As Nigeria's e-hailing landscape continues to evolve, e-hailing drivers want the federal government and Nigerians to look into their plight by ensuring safety and welfare is taken care of. Maria Mohammed, TVC News, Abuja.
And still in Abuja, the former Chief of Army Staff, retired Lieutenant General Tukur Buratai, has called for the adoption of healthy cultural practices that enforce security and peaceful coexistence in a bid to curb the security challenges in the country. The retired lieutenant was speaking at the West African social activity organized by the Nigerian Army headquarters. Stephen's correspondent Tifon Esen has more details.
The West African Social Activity WASA is an age-long event of the Nigerian Army which dates back to the Second World War. It is meant to celebrate the contributions of the officers and men in the defense of the country. The ceremony provides the opportunity to take stock of what has been achieved in the previous year. The residents take the stage to showcase the various cultures that abound in the barracks. Exercises such as tug of war pits troops of the Nigerian Army against those of the police and civil defense. The event also provides a platform for awarding soldiers for their outstanding performance. Beyond the festivities remain the security challenges which is piling pressure on the government.
As the Nigerian Army strives to tackle insecurity in the country, both the kinetic and the non-kinetic, we must use culture and tradition to promote national security and national unity. No Nigerian culture accepts banditry, kidnapping, or terrorism.
In the face of the daunting security challenge we face across the country, it is worth noting that the Nigerian Army, in conjunction with its sister services and other security agencies, has worked assiduously to ensure that all threats to our national security are contained.
But at the end of the day, the officers and men are happy to be alive against all odds. Sifon Esen, TVC News, Abuja.
And outside Nigeria, more than 400 people have been detained at events across 32 Russian cities since the death of Alexei Navalny, President Vladimir Putin's most formidable opponent. Now, this is according to rights group Over the Info, as Russians continue to gather and lay flowers. It has been the largest wave of arrests at political events in Russia since September 2022, when more than 1,300 were arrested at demonstrations against a partial mobilization of reservists for President Putin's military campaign in Ukraine. Over the Info, which reports on freedom of assembly in Russia, said the largest number of arrests occurred in St. Petersburg and Moscow, where Navalny support had traditionally been strong. As of early morning on Saturday, more than 200 people were detained in St. Petersburg. There was no mention of the event on Russia State News Agency, which are under Kremlin full control.